Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how I created my model for our first project. My chosen word is timeline. So to me, I wanted to create something that connected me to my timeline right now. So I wanted to create a tunnel-like hole and have things that are personal to me going through it. So as we know that the black hole in the universe, it tends to attract everything around it. So I wanted to have that kind of representation to it. So for the chain, I started off by using the ellipse diameter for the diameter of the actual chain, and then for the hole that was created in the middle, I used the rounded triangle. So after getting the first step done, I used the one rail sweep to create the actual look of a chain. But rather than having it look flat, I used the twist that you can find at the left panel that created this deformed shape of an actual chain, or what a chain would look like. So as you can see here, I kept going back and forth with the array linear because when it kept duplicating the shape, rather than going through the hole, it kept going through the actual surface, which is not what I wanted. So I kept twisting it and changing the position of the actual chain till I got it right and used the array linear to make a duplicate of that shape. So after getting the loop correct, I added a surface on top and at the bottom of the chain, and then I extruded it so I can be able to use the Boolean difference to create a flat surface at the top and at the bottom rather than having a round curve. So moving on, I used here a control point curve that I twisted. So then rather than having a flat round tunnel, I wanted it to have it at an angle. So after the control point curve, I added a little line at the bottom that kind of went outwards. So then when I do the two rail sweep, it wouldn't look like a straight line. I wanted it to have a curve that went inside in the middle and then outwards to the top. So with the help of the curved line there in the middle, it made it easier and it helped with the look that I actually wanted. As you can see here, after using the two rail sweep, it created this tunnel that I envisioned of what I wanted. So after going back and forth with the different flow along surface positions, it took a while, therefore, which is why I couldn't like put the whole thing because the load of the surface took too long. Um, so I took my actual tunnel and I flowed along the surface of the chain. So I wanted the chain to go around the tunnel surface um, to make it look kind of distorted and out of shape, which is what I in the end created. So in here I changed the direction of the chain to a 90 degrees standing straight. But rather than having it sit straight through the tunnel, I wanted it to have a curve. Hence why I used the bend tool to create that. So next I used the subtlety tool. So to create my vine leaves and flowers, I wanted something not too difficult to the point where it looked too realistic. I wanted it to have a abstract look to it, hence why I used the sub D cylinder. So by using the surfaces, I elongated it to look narrow and thinner. So after getting the narrow part down, I highlighted the surfaces that I wanted to stretch out and created these abstract leaves that I put on each side really randomly to make it look as abstract as I wanted it to look. Now, because the vine leaves represent each of my siblings, I had to duplicate four, but then I used the bend tool to bend each leaf differently to create like a different story to each one. Now, to make a connection for each of the leaf, I wanted it to be connected at the root, so I used the sub-D bridge to connect the bottom of the leaves together. For the last part, which is the flower, I wanted it to also have the abstract flower look. So using the sub-D cylinder, I controlled each part by pulling out the surface and very randomly picked out the points to create these petal look. So while spending the flower for this sabdi, it was very difficult as it kept stretching out the petal itself. Each time I tried to bend it, it kept repeating the same thing. So I decided to put it inside the tunnel, and then I put a flat surface and used the trim tool to trim out the excess the surfaces that were coming out of the tunnel. So therefore, now when I tried to bend it, it worked. And I think the problem was because the strand was too long, and that's why it kept stretching out the top part. So after this, you could see me pulling or bending the flower petal. And there you have it. This is my final Rhino project. I hope you like it. Thank you.